Thank you, Madam Budget Chair, Pro Tem. Each of the subcommittee chairs have worked so hard. I want to address a couple of points and add some context as we deal with this extraordinary challenge of putting together this budget document which guides California. The Pro Tem last year put together a working group of economic recovery, including myself and the senator from Gardena, 10 senators from this House, 15 members from the other House, all of whom put together a $100 billion package. But the package was about economic recovery. We did not know what the future would bring. That is one of the great challenges that we face in this government in terms of how our budget works. The mayor of Sacramento, former PT, was here when there was $60 billion deficits. I have too, in my history of being here, extraordinary deficits. What does that mean? It means important services are cut off. It means employees are furloughed. It means that the cost of restarting is extraordinary. We have this unbelievably volatile system. And here we face, between the federal dollars that we have and the unbelievable, unexpected dollars that we have from capital gains, crazy amount of money. And so from someone with my perspective, what I'm interested in is, in addition to supplementing so many of the services and providing and fixing so many of the holes that we have in the budget, what I'm concerned about is a responsible budget for the long term. $25.2 billion in reserves. $25.2 billion. In the old days, we just had a small, maybe $1 billion, $500 million. You remember this, Senator, in the old days, we had a small dollar reserve under the budget that was required. Now we have four reserves. We have one for social safety net, education, the big rainy day fund, plus the reserve account. Unprecedented, but why is that necessary? Because it's responsible to be able to think long-term, to protect against the volatility that we face and the impact that has everywhere. We have paid down when I was government before, we had within weeks of my election a huge obligation under Prop 98. We've paid off that obligation completely and given us tools for those of us who are in the budget process to be able, as we go forward and have this volatility, to be able to be prepared for that. Paying down debt, huge reserves, $43 billion, I think the number was, of one-time revenues, fixing a lot of underlying problems, but doing it in a way that understands the long-term challenges that we face in California. So indeed, as the Pro Tem mentioned, as the Budget Chair mentioned, as the subcommittee chairs mentioned, in terms of fixing a number of problems, I wanted to step back and look at the larger architecture so that we can protect future generations as we deal with the challenges that we have to face in this expanding, growing, changing California, where the financial landscape is nothing less than extraordinary. And of course, we have dealt with so many of the issues, as were mentioned, related to business and related to some of the other aspects of the budget that were articulated. But I think it's important to make that statement about the long-term view, about the responsible budgeting, about providing the necessary tools going forward, because we know we're going to face challenges as we always have done in the past. And for that, I wanted to add my comments to express that dimension of why I think this budget has elegance, is appropriate, and I can stand and proudly vote for. Thank you very much, members.